Good morning. So it's Affirmation 6, and I really love this affirmation. I say that about all of them. But I find myself getting more and more empowered and more honest, because a lot of my fears are coming up, and with the program I'm just feeling more compassionate, like I'm able to actually look at them and realize that there is a system to actually help me feel better about them, and that feels really good. I kind of wonder why I didn't think about doing this before. Hey, everything in its own time, you know? So today's affirmation is about reward, and it says, I am ecstatic that I have chosen to live my life fearlessly. And I am. I'm ecstatic. I'm so grateful. Because this was a choice. You know, this was a conscious choice to create this program, but it's also a conscious choice to do this program. It's a conscious choice to say, I don't want to be fearful, I don't want to be resentful, I don't want to be defensive anymore. I'm making a proclamation right here and right now. I don't want to be defensive. When people say something to me, I don't want to be defensive. I don't want to hide. And the thing is, fear and the ego are so subtle. They're so slippery. They can be really blatant, but they can also be very, very slippery. I don't even see myself. I've had a behavior that, and it's an internal behavior, it's a way of dealing with the world. My ego goes off on a dialogue that's really out of control. And it's out of control. And so I was sitting in meditation, the last couple of days I've been really looking at it. And this morning when I was sitting in meditation, the answer for why I do that is having been wounded so many times that I immediately go into this behavior. And it's not an outward behavior, it's an internal behavior. It's an internal way of dealing with things. It's like chewing on stuff. It's like compulsive eating. So instead of compulsive eating, what I was doing was having this behavior, having this dialogue that goes in my head, and I was compulsive eating. Now that I'm not compulsive eating, I'm able to really witness the dialogue and I'm able to engage it, which is why I'm able to confront it. Really powerful stuff, So, this takes me back into the affirmation, because this is the reward of making the choice to live fearlessly. The reward is that you get to see where your fears are and you get to confront them. Our fear is not to be taken away from us in an instant. That can happen in many ways. Where it serves our highest good, our fears will be taken away immediately. But the work of the soul is to go deep into the dark places. And this defensiveness, for me, is one of my dark places. So I'm really, really grateful to have a system that helps me go deeply into my own dark places, to go deeply into my shadow, and to know that there are solutions, and the solutions are easy in that, there are some logical, rational ways that you can get your mind to stop being your enemy. And part of this process that we're doing, this 10-week process, is about doing that. And I'm so glad that I made it 10 weeks. I was really tempted to do it shorter and, to try to keep people engaged for a shorter period. To do it just for 4 weeks. Come on, people can handle 4 weeks. No, man, we're going in for 10 weeks because we can. We can do 10 weeks. We have a system. We have our Facebook group where we are able to go there and tell our story and to share our journey. We have our journals, which are there to keep us active and involved and to know our own processes. And for those of you who have issues with the journaling, who don't know how to do it, you don't have to worry about it. It's a practice. It's not a perfection. It's about learning how to do things and to just keep getting in there, keep getting in there. We have our group coaching calls where we come together as a whole. We have the 4 of those that are set. That's a part of the core program. Getting on that call or listening to it later and listening to it again if it inspires you. This is our opportunity to come together as a group, to get learning, and also to voice our own fears, our own problems. Those are really important. But we also have the small group coaching calls, which are coming strategically every 10 days. That's where you come if you need extra help and you want to work on something specific. Really, really important. We need help while we're doing this program. We need help. We need somebody to hold our hands. We have our accountability partners. That's another way. This is such a good program. Yay me. Yay me for being open enough to let Spirit channel through me a system that is helpful and that works. I know it works because I've done it in my abundance, my abundance boot camps. I've done it before. I've never gone 10 weeks. I think that 10 weeks is essential. I can feel that it's essential. This program is in and of itself its own reward. Committing to living fearlessly is an act of defiance over the internal tyrant, over that part of you that wants to live in fear, over that part of me that wants to live in fear, that wants to be defensive, that wants to be angry, that wants to hang on to anger and wants to make the world answer the anger. I've already done anger, and I know that I've done anger. I know that I've already revisited all those wounded parts of myself. I don't need to go back there anymore. So why do I have this defensive dialogue? Because I need to be remembered. And that's remembered who I am, the truth of who I am. Not the wounded part of me, though. The powerful, energetic part. When the wounding comes up, when that defensive self comes up, it's a reminder to say, hey, check in with yourself. Who are you? Get empowered in your desires. Get empowered in your creative self. Get empowered in your God self, the one that's here to create and to expand consciousness by creating and by enjoying her own creative processes. Powerful affirmation. I am ecstatic that I have chosen to live fearlessly. I am grateful to be building a solid foundation of confidence, responsibility, planning, and trust in my own capabilities. This is about coming back to me as a woman who has the ability to call in her higher self, to call in all the resources that she knows spiritually, but also materially, to be able to ask for help, to be able to receive help, to be able to recognize that all my past influences are actually gifts, that like all my old story, those things are gifts for me. I don't need to be defensive anymore. I know who I am. I remember who I am. Not the old story. I remember who I am as a divine being of God. So I don't have to keep letting my mind perseverate. In Michael Singer's book, The Untethered Soul, he talks about the mind that keeps repeating, that has a problem, and then like lives in that problem and perseverates on that problem and talks about that problem and shadow works that problem and repeats in itself over and over and over again. It says the same thing over and over again. The problem, the problem, the problem. I should say this. I should say that. I can do this. I can do that. I should have done this. I should have done that. This person did this. This person did that. Ba 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 ba. It's really a fiend. It's like this ongoing dialogue. It's fiendish, right? It's what I call my inner tyrant. And he talks about that in the book, and then he's like, fine. Once you get the solution to it, the mind then is done with that problem. It instantly goes into the next problem, and it starts this dialogue again about another thing that's new to it. And the thing is, I know who I am. I know that I am a being of God. So why am I even focusing and perseverating on this? I know what the solutions are. When there's a thing that comes up, like when I've told you about my landlord. Oh, the landlord this, the landlord that, and the landlord this, and the landlord that, and this is what's going to happen. And then I'm afraid of that this is going to happen, and she's going to hold on to my deposit, and blah, 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 blah. And the mind is just going on and on and on and telling this story. And I remember the last time, and when I was a child, this happened, and oh my God, my drama, my own egoic drama. And I get to the landlords yesterday, and the landlord is like, look, I just want to clear the air, and I just want to give you your deposit back, and I want to prorate your rent, and I just want you to be happy. And that's all I wanted, and she did it. She didn't do it, though, because my ego was turning and chewing on the story. She did it because in between those moments of my ego chewing on this story and telling this story of negativity and the problem over and over, I kept remembering who I am. I kept saying, ego, stop, quiet, stop, come back to the light. You're a being of light. Everything is going to fall into place as it needs to. But. Yes, but ego, coming back, parenting myself, that's what I did. I renewed. In my efforts, I am being rejuvenated, made young, renewed, made new, and remembered, put back together. I kept remembering who I am. That's the important part of this affirmation. And a part of this process is to keep coming back, to remember that I'm not the defensive girl. I am not the wounded girl. I am the creative, divine, ecstatic, loving, beautiful energy that has the power and the resources to create what it is that I desire. I gotta stay focused on my desires. Is there an affirmation that says I stay focused on my desires? Co-creating my desires. That's affirmation number 8. I can't wait till we get there, I can't wait. I'm excited. Yes, I can do this. I can do this. I am that I am. I am whole, and in my wholeness, I invite a whole experience with whole relationships that satisfy me, whole investments in my endeavors, whole commitments to my desires. So good. Last night I was sitting with my housemate, and we were she's very, very, very good at doing her shadow work, and she's very, very, very good at being in her feelings in the moment. I'm so grateful to be able to witness, and she's one of my clients, one of my students, and it's really amazing to watch. I've worked with her to a certain point, and then she takes the information and she runs with it, and she's a phenomenon, like, to be able to be so present with your feelings and to be, like, in touch with them is awesome. And she mirrors me back to myself, and she gave me the opportunity last night to see myself where I can be in my feelings, and the feelings can come up and I can want to jump on them, or I can feel them, and I feel hurt, I feel wounded. And, I got to remind her last night of, like, this thing of being the light, remembering who we are, and allowing her to have her feelings, but also to hold space for her to be the higher self. I got to do that for myself all the time. And so my prayers this morning were for my gods, my guides, to help me remember my true self, to make space for my true self to come in. That's where the fearlessness is for me, to be fearless, and to be fearless not by suppressing my feelings, not suppressing, allowing my anger, allowing my anxiety, allowing my worry, allowing my concern, allowing my resentment, but always knowing who I am. Look, I'm not saying that this is easy. It's not easy. In the moments, it's hard, it's frightening, it's emotional, but it's a practice to remember who you are in these moments. Sometimes the practice is allowing your anger and saying, I am a divine being who is having anger right now. God damn it, I'm going to be fucking angry. I'm going to be angry, and I'm going to act out. And I'm going to tell you my true feelings, and I'm going to take a risk that you can trust me to have my true feelings and to express them, and to still love me, to still honor me as a human being who's worthy of love and compassion in my feelings. And maybe my anger hurts you, and to let me know that it hurt you, but to also love me and to let me deal with that, to let us deal with it together, And I'm not saying that you don't have to cut people off sometimes. Sometimes you do. I had to leave my landlord, that last place where I was living, because the landlord was just crazy pants, She and her processes were overbearing for me. I made a conscious choice to leave it, and I take full responsibility, right? Affirmation number 3. Take responsibility. I take responsibility for my actions. She took responsibility for hers. I allowed it. Man, this is big stuff that we're doing right now. I hope you're enjoying the process. I'm enjoying it immensely. The ups, the downs, I am in joy with it. Fully. I own it, man. So I am going to stop right here and wish you a powerful day. Wish you a day of fearless living, man. Get in there. Get into yourself and work on your internal fears, and then Let your outside world respond to the internal processes. Like if there's something that you want to change in the outside world, don't worry about it. You're there. You're going to get there. Work on this internal stuff. Work on your affirmations. Explore your world. Examine yourself. Observe yourself. Be in touch with your feelings. Love yourself. Love your feelings. Love your emotions. It's not always easy. I'm not saying that it's always easy, but it's always fulfilling. It's always rich. It's always whole making. It's always unifying. You may not recognize it in the moment, but you will later, especially if you stick with this process. Remember to ask me for help. I am a personal empowerment coach. You're learning my process, the way I work, by watching these videos and by being in this program. This is my program. This is how I work. So you can come to me, and I am very, very, very happy to work with you, to teach you, to lead you, to guide you, you know? And I'm also, my process when I work with people is to help bring out your own processes so that you can feel comfortable in doing this work yourself, but in your own way. So I don't force you into my way. I'm very good at helping you with your own way, with your own processes. Yeah? And your own path. My job is to help you with your own path, but luckily I have my own system so that I can help you with your own path. All right. I am excited to be working with you in this. I love our Facebook group, and I love all the emails that are coming in. I love communicating with you and hearing about your wins and your growth and your trials also. I love that. A lot of people have been sharing with me where it's hard, and thank you. Thank you. We're right there in it together. All right, friends, I'm signing off. Bye for now.